right, everyone, welcome to World's Finest. We're your hosts for the evening. Imagine that, we're your hosts for the evening. But as always, I am Lee, and with me is my buddy, my friend, LT. What's
Hey,
up,
buddy.
Lee?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good, and I'm excited because something we've been waiting for since what, like 2002?
At least, yeah.
Since 2002, unbeknownst to us, we got, in 2002, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies came out. I think that's what I think it was 2002. If I'm not mistaken.
At least, yeah.
And yeah, and then we just got who would have thought in 2021 we get the final bow, the little, to kind of wrap up Tobey Maguire's story that was started in Spider-Man. Yes, guys, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but I'm talking about, we're going to discuss Far From Home. We're going to get into a bunch of stuff. I'm sorry, not Far From Home, No Way
No
Home.
way home. That's how excited we are.
I know, exactly. Yes, we're going to talk about No Way Home. Man, it's finally out. We saw it. I've seen it twice, man. I'm not gonna I was able to go
Wow.
back and check it out twice. I enjoyed it that much. There was just so much to take in. As you guys can tell, I loved the movie. I thought it was fantastic. LT, what you think?
It was phenomenal. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I mean, emotionally, you got everything. I mean, there was some tear-jerking moments, there was some laughs, there was some action. I
Yep.
mean, holy crap. I mean, the amount of cameos we got from this movie.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh man. No, I went in expecting the world, and we got it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, guys, this movie picks up exactly from where the last one left off. J. Jonah Jameson has unveiled to the world, revealed to the world exactly who Spider-Man is. This one, Peter Parker. And that movie takes place right from there. Boom. Mysterio had put it out there, and it just starts off so exciting, I think, and also so much fun. You
Right.
know what I mean? It starts off with him swinging through and she had just said, "I'll never do that again." Swinging through the city, made her nauseous. And
Picks
then
her
it
up
was
and
done with
takes her
that.
right back.
Picks her up, she's back at it. They're just swinging through. They're yelling like you can't see. It's so chaotic. Him and Dad are on the phone. It's just the first few minutes, even though his world is falling apart, it's a lot of fun to watch. You know what I mean? Swinging through the subway, it was just such a fun tone to it. And then it's just boom. It's like, wow, I can't believe this. His identity's out there. But yeah, from the beginning of the movie all the way to the end, it was action packed and exciting. And like you said, the emotion was there. And kudos to Marvel for keeping I mean, even though it was out there, they never once winced. They never showed any
Yeah,
weakness in their
they never
armor. They never
broke.
once admitted that they
Exactly.
never broke and said that Toby and Andrew were in the film. You know what I mean? So bravo to them. I saw it opening day, and so I didn't know. I mean, I knew, I knew, but I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I wanted to see it opening day, so I didn't see any headlines that even gave it away that, oh, they're in the movie or anything like that. So I'm sitting there in the film, and they hadn't showed up yet. They hadn't shown up. I'll tell you what, the one scene I thought they were going to show up in was going to be the scene where he was getting beat down by Goblin, right when Aunt May died. I really
Oh,
thought if they were going to show up, that was where they were going to show up. Come, because Peter looked like he was in Peter one, I should say.
Peter one,
Looked
yes.
like he was in some serious trouble. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so when they didn't show up there, I was like, man, maybe they're not in the movie. You know?
Yeah, because that was already well into the movie. Yeah. And
Yeah, they didn't come and save him from getting beat down by Goblin at that point, and then she died. I was like, man, maybe they're not. What did you think? I mean, you saw it a couple? I think you saw it a few days after opening, right?
I saw it 2 days after the opening day.
Were you able to keep or be in the know, or not know? Were you have it spoiled, or was it spoiled for you?
And
Like
you know
100%
what?
spoiled?
Amazingly enough, I'm always online. I'm always on social media, and there was a lot of people posting no spoilers, do not spoil, 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 spoil. And for the most part, where I usually surf, they were not saying anything up until say Monday, when finally people were like giving you know everyone at least the weekend to see it. But yeah, I didn't see any spoilers. I mean, I wasn't looking for them to begin with, but for the most part, like you said, there was those hints out there that people were like, oh, they're in the movie, even to the cameo of Matt Murdock, oh, he's in
Yeah,
the movie,
yeah,
nothing was ever confirmed, or they were so tight-lipped about it. Yeah, nonetheless, I try to stay offline for those 2 days between Friday and Sunday,
right.
just to
So,
see
so,
fresh.
but then going into it, then you genuinely surprised? I mean, again, not having it confirmed beforehand, were you genuinely surprised when they,
Well,
as
yeah, well,
surprised as you could be when they showed up?
especially
Yeah,
yeah, when how they finally came in and were revealed. I mean,
yeah,
I thought they were going to be just walk up like, hey, we were zapped in by this multiverse, but no, it was Ned who called, who
yes,
opened the portal to them, and we're like, what?
yeah. Exactly. I will say, like I said, I really thought they were going to come and save him when the Goblin was killed, in the apartment building. That didn't happen. When Ned called him, as soon as he opened up that portal, and they showed him, I was like, "That's Andrew."
Yeah,
I
well, yeah,
knew it right then.
you can
You knew it
tell
as
the
soon
body,
as,
yeah, in a suit.
yeah, exactly. And it was, and I tell you what, man, I've said this before. It's not so controversial anymore as it was when I said this a few months ago. I've always thought Andrew Garfield was the best Peter Parker. I really did. I have
You
always thought that, and a lot of people, obviously a lot of people didn't think that because Amazing Spider-Man didn't actually get to finish out his trilogy. Then Sony folded and threw in the cards and went into with Marvel, and that's when Tom Holland came in, which is great because I wanted to see Spider-Man in the MCU.
Marvel, yeah.
But man, I tell you what, I do think, and even this show, it proved it to me again, just seeing him on the screen with all three Spider-Men up there. To me, Andrew Garfield is the best. He really
my
is. He just
my
popped.
daughter would agree with you, and that's exactly when she saw it, she was like thrilled. She loves Andrew Garfield. She loves Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I mean,
Yeah.
she was young when Tobey Maguire came out, so she really didn't grow up on him. She loves Spider-Man, but not that iteration. But yeah,
Right.
when Garfield got, she was excited, and she's hoping, everything she hoped for as far as him coming back, saving the day, the the whole him saving MJ, just finding some kind of closure, some stuff, a lot of emotions we didn't get to see
Right.
in a third film that we never got, oh,
Yeah.
that was exciting to see him, and you could tell. I mean, that guy's an actor, yeah,
He
yeah.
is, dude. He is. That scene where he saved MJ after she was falling, and he got that cathartic. He was able to like just kind of have that closure. The way he was sobbing, when he caught her, and because it was just that he was able to do that for Gwen.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? He wasn't able to help her, and then it. So I mean, just the movie all around was fantastic. You mentioned Murdoch, Matt Murdock. I
Yeah.
loved his appearance when we saw him. He came in there and handled those legal problems for Peter, got them out of there, put it all behind him, and then caught that brick like he did. And Peter was like, he was like,
How'd you do that?
I'm just a really good lawyer. Yeah, I'm just a good lawyer, a really good lawyer. You know, it was so awesome to see him. Just so great to see that maybe one day we'll get, Peter, Matt, they know each other now. You know what I mean? It's not too far off from seeing them being able to swing through the city together soon.
Well, we don't know if they know each other. That's, we'll talk about that later.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you're right now. So let's jump into that too. I love the movie. Like I said, we've talked a lot about obviously Andrew and Toby. And I got to say this real quick before we move on. I gave my daughter a crash course over the past few weeks into some of the Spider-Man movies. She's seen the Tom Holland ones, but I wanted her when we saw it. She's 10. When she saw it, I didn't want her. I wanted her to just be kind of also be kind of like taken aback that these other Spider-Man and recognize who they were, where they were coming from. So I gave her Spider-Man 2, show her that, and then I showed her most of. And she actually loved that. She loved Amazing Spider-Man
Right.
2. Showed her some of the Tobey Maguire ones. Those are a little different. Spider-Man 2 I went with, and for some that's the quintessential superhero movie. It is. Spider-Man 2, people hold that movie
Doc
up
Ock,
in
yeah.
high esteem as the best superhero movie to this date. You know what I mean? Day and age. Um, my point is, I brought all up, give her a crash course. She walks out of this crash course of Spider-Man movies over the past few weeks. Andrew Garfield's also her number one. You know what I mean? She loves him too. So anyway, I think we might see a Spider-Man 3 from Andrew Garfield. I mean, there's a lot of
Those
rumors
are the
coming out about
rumors.
that now.
There's
You
already
know
rumors.
that Sony could spark that the popularity of either Maguire or Garfield and run with them in their Sony universe with Venom and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? That's popping off over there with Morbius and have their own little. They could do it. You know, have their Spider-Man adventures while Spider-Man's over here mixed up with the MCU.
They open so many possibilities. I mean, the end, all the way from the end, from the breaking of the multiverse to the damn last credit scene we see of with Venom. You know, there's so many damn possibilities now.
Yeah.
Oh my
now,
god.
are you? I know, guys, we're all over the place, but we are talking about the movie. And so, I mean, these are all important pieces of the movie. How did you feel? Are you not having Venom? I know I talked about my daughter. My son, the whole movie, he was like, "Dad, is Venom going to be in this movie?" He couldn't, you know, he saw Venom too. So of course they set it up to where there was going to be some type of confrontation between Venom, you know, Tom Hardy's Venom and the MCU Spider-Man. That unfortunately did not come to fruition in this movie. We did get a little bit of closure to his storyline about him popping over into that world, you know, Venom and Eddie Brock popping over in that world. But how did you feel about them not being in the movie, and also the way the seed's been planted? It doesn't look like we'll get a Tom Hardy Venom
exactly.
Spider-Man crossover, Tom Holland crossover. You know, it doesn't seem like it's in the cards.
Right. I kind of half-heartedly knew we weren't going to see Venom. Even, you know, the tease we saw at the end of Venom 2 led us to believe that yes, he was going to be there in some way, some capacity. And I'm like, okay, now that we get it, now we're going to have a movie with Tom Holland Spider-Man with Tom Hardy Venom. You know, that's how it's, you know, how it had set. And then we see this end of the video or end of the credit scene where I didn't even think about it. He was part of this dimensional close, this, you know, and he was zapped back to his universe. Although we did see a piece of Venom there. So that just now tells me, is there going to be another Venom? Are we going to see an MCU Venom?
That's what I'm saying. They were able to give us that's the way they were able to. Yes, to answer your question, yes, that's exactly what it is. That's them planting that. They can have the best of both worlds now. They'll have the Tom Hardy, Eddie Brock Venom going on in the Sony universe. You know what I mean? And then we are going to get the MCU. Now, what they could do, yes, in the MCU universe. Two options here. It could find the Eddie Brock in that world, and it looks like Tom Hardy. So we could have, you know, him still be Venom, or they could go a totally different route. There's been the Venom, I guess, most recently in the comics. I don't know too much about this, but I guess Venom has taken over Flash Thompson.
Right, agent.
You know, Venom. Agent Venom, yeah, is what it is. So it's a little bit of a different type of personality even with it, right, if I'm not mistaken. And we could see it latch on to Flash, you know, Flash Thompson. And you know, we've seen throughout these movies how much he loves Spider-Man, Flash does, but you know, and hated Peter Parker. You know so, you know, who knows? I don't know. It's just that I'm saying but I think that's what's happening here. I would actually prefer to see Tom Hardy.
Yeah, me too.
You know, but I'm saying we could do it. Let's say there's a Tom Hardy and, you know, Eddie Brock that lives in the MCU. If they do it that route, I'm okay with that. If they go that route with it, you know what I mean? As long as we get Tom Hardy playing him, and maybe he's very similar in personality to the other Sony universe one. Or I would have liked to have seen them transfer over and just things stay the same. I do like the fact that how the reason the symbiote knew Spider-Man is because of the hive mind. So he remembers the encounter that the Venom in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, the Tobey Maguire.
Had with the Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, Topher Grace.
Tobey Maguire, Topher Grace one. So that's why the Eddie Brock Venom. I hope I'm not confusing you guys. The Eddie Brock Venom in the Sony universe was able to recognize Spider-Man when he saw him, because he's the hive mind is collected throughout the
Right.
multiverses and universes. So anyway, I that's that. I don't know what to say about Venom. It's I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean,
Those are the
I know money wise, if there's going to be two Venoms in two different MCUs or Spider Verse, it's going to make
yeah,
money. People are going to flock to both movies. It doesn't matter. But I mean,
yeah.
from a fan standpoint, I would have wished that it stayed over here. Not
I
not
agree.
stay. So I mean, that's just
I agree.
that's just Venom. I mean, we got all the bad guys from all the different multiverses come out. So now basically this movie is a soft reboot of sorts, because Spider-Man's starting again. He has no Aunt
Yep.
May. He knows no one knows him as far as like Shield, as far as the Avengers. And so he's starting anew. So what does that mean? Are we going to get all new MCU versions of Electro, Doc Ock, or I mean, are those Sony baddies still on the table for future, movies?
All good questions, but I do know what I think this movie did solidify for us and let us know is that Oscorp does not,
Yep, doesn't exist.
exist in the MCU, which I think is very surprising. I was kind of surprised by that that wasn't going to be, that's just basically taking all that stuff off the table. You know what I mean? All of that stuff. So this was the only, to your point, I'm kind of piggybacking on what you said. These, I don't know. I think these baddies, I think this is it. We see of them, you know what I mean? And who
I
know,
mean,
at least this
granted,
iteration of them, they've all
right.
been cured. I can't see them doing another Doc Ock in Spider-Man 5 down the line. You know what I mean? That he's fighting against. I think this took care of all that, seeing all of those guys
I
um
mean, yeah,
in the MCU.
yeah.
I think
I
we might
mean,
see there's been rumors that Electro and those guys might get their own little spin-off movies also. You know what I mean? How they're focusing on, like, they're doing Morbius and Venom. There's been
right.
rumors like that might happen.
But I mean, we've already got in the MCU, we've got Vulture, we been introduced to Scorpion now. There's Morbius coming out. We got
But Morbius is not the MCU.
we don't know yet.
No, we do know that was in the Sony universe. That's 100%. That the Morbius is in the Sony Venom universe.
But why do we see Vulture in the trailers?
I don't know.
Exactly. We don't know what universe it is because there's Oscorp there. Yet we see a Spider-Man poster murderer. We've got,
Yeah, and it's the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man
yeah,
too, which is weird. Hey, I mean, that's
Vulture,
true.
and he talks
Yeah,
about Venom. So what are we talking? We don't know anything until what? When's it come out?
February of some February, I believe it's when it does. But so how did you feel about? I mean, I don't know where it's going to take place. I don't think it's going to be the MCU. I honestly don't think it will be the MCU. I think it will be in the Venom universe. Now, how they're going to respond, or at least wherever Venom resides now, because they basically told us in that Spider-Man that Venom does not exist in the MCU as of now, does not exist in the MCU
Right.
by them, pushing him back into the other world. Um, what did you think about? You brought those other bad guys up. I have to ask, did you like seeing the six guys again?
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I loved every single one of them in the first time around. Well, I kind of didn't like the lizard, but
Yeah,
you know, yeah, to see Doc Ock come back, still just hell bent on what his mission was, and then for him to really, uh, I guess switch sides. I mean, because of the chip that was, fixed, he had control over his legs, his arms.
yeah,
um and then Electro, you knew he was going to be, run with the bad guy thing, and then William Dafoe, I mean, that guy's just an amazing actor to begin with.
yes,
uh you know uh, uh yeah, no, I loved them all. I loved how they came back. They were not so much upgraded versions of what we saw before, but more I don't know, understood villains, if that makes sense. I mean, we kind of, for the most part, we got these villains when they were about to die, right? Is that how they were kind of introduced? Like,
Yeah, they were all basically taken, uh, except for Electro, because he was, or no, Electro, except for Lizard, I mean, because he didn't die.
no. Well,
You
see,
know
and
what I
neither
mean? And
neither did
Sandman, and
yeah, neither
Sandman.
did Sandman.
But everybody else was taken right before they died. Or at least, maybe Sandman and Lizard do die later on in some other films or whatever, or you know what I mean, later on in those
True.
films in
True.
particular. The other three guys got taken right before they died, right before Goblin got impaled by the glider in the first Spider-Man, Electro and the Amazing Spider-Man 2. And then Lizard, I'm sorry, not Lizard, Doc Ock at the end of Spider-Man 2.
Right. When he was
They
drowning
were,
or he's being pulled
yep,
down. Yeah.
yep. So then, but I thought it was great to see them all again. I loved how they got all of the same exact actors, you know what I mean, to come back and play them. Willem Dafoe is a fantastic Goblin. I love the way he does. You just the way his body is, and when he's talking, you can just tell the difference. You know what I mean?
Right.
In Goblin and Norman, it's just so good. He's just so good in that. Uh, and it took out May out, which was rough,
Uh,
man. It was really rough. I like
that
Marissa
was,
Tomei
yeah.
as an actress. Yeah, it was terrible. But we got the famous line that we had never heard before in the MCU Spider-Man.
Hmm.
Great power comes great
Great
responsibility.
responsibility. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she was the one who said that to him.
And yeah,
And
it really
Peter
didn't
needed to hear
dawn on
that.
me until when he said it, and they were like, "That's what Uncle Ben told us." And then they were like, all three together, like, "Oh my God, you know, this
Yeah,
is," and that really, like, wow, that's, it didn't phase me until that happened. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. You know,
yeah, exactly, dude. So that he took her out. It was tough. Now you mentioned earlier how it was a little bit of a reboot. Spider way the movie ends, nobody knows who he is and all of that. I will say this: I've said it since the beginning. I didn't like the way Spider-Man. This we never got to see this Spider-Man kind of come on, be on his own. I was glad he was part of the MCU, but he always Tony, in my opinion, was relying so heavily on Tony Stark.
his technology, even the suit.
With the
Yeah,
technology, yeah, the Iron Spider and all of that stuff was just, I don't like that Spider-Man. I do like Spider-Man, but you know what I mean. I like Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. You
yeah. I
know
mean,
what I
all
mean?
of all of
Who
what we had
relies
seen
on
up,
his own stuff.
all we had seen up to that was in the comics, way past, way in
Yeah,
the future. Him
yeah,
going back to how he was making his suit, at the end he made his suit, and
yep.
he's starting, he's a brand new, old, well, not brand new, an old rundown apartment.
That looked very, very similar to Tobey Maguire's apartment
Yeah,
that he
yeah.
had in the original Spider-Man series. So so at least it has been reset to because to see for us to see the Peter Parker that we know, us comic guys Peter Parker that we know and love. You
Right.
know what I mean? So they did reset it that way. There's no AI in the suit and all of that stuff. It's just Spider-Man relying upon
his
himself.
his spider
You know,
senses, yeah, himself.
his
So
spider sense. So that being said, I was going to say something about spider webs. I thought that was a pretty funny scene when Toby's like, "Hey, what's that?" Pointing towards his wrists, talking
no.
about the stuff on his.
Oh no.
And he was like, "It's my web shooters." He was like, "I don't have money." He's just like, "Oh my god, where did that come from?"
is that,
You
is that
know?
coming from you?
Yeah. And then I mean, go back to the guys. They did such a great job with the witty banter that they all had, talking about the different people they'd fought, and all of that stuff. It was just such great dialogue between them, and how awesome was it to see the three guys swinging through the city and then landing
The
together, or not swinging through the city,
Spider-Man
the
pose.
poses, yeah, all the different poses that they had and stuff like that. It was really cool to see all these three guys, three generations of Spider-Man
Yeah,
come
yeah.
together,
Wow.
but I had to jump into that. But no, it was just great. It was just I loved it, man. It was just all good stuff.
Now that this is a soft reboot and that no one knows who he is now, I mean, how are we supposed to, how is he supposed to, or how are we supposed to move forward knowing that any MCU character we now see is not going to know who he is. I mean, we going back to Murdoch, we were talking about earlier. He doesn't know Peter anymore. You know, you know, case in point, when he was at the gravesite of May, and he was like, how Happy was there, or Happy showed up. How do you know? How'd you know May? And she said, oh, I know him through Spider-Man. He says, yeah, me too. You know, so up until then, it's kind of just hard to fathom. No one knows who he is. You know.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
That does. I didn't like that aspect. You know, we finally get the Peter Parker that we know, but I didn't want him to like
yes. So
have.
everyone up until then, where he worked with, you know, on Civil War, you know, anything, is that now erased from their minds? They're just, oh, we worked with Spider-Man, but we did, you know, what about the banter between I mean, I don't know.
I think all the conversations that they had with Peter, the heroes that during battle and stuff will be. It is still they'll still remember that. It'll just be they dealt with Spider-Man.
But just don't know it.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm gathering. That was fine too. I didn't care about. I don't really care about that. I don't like the fact that he's rolling without MJ and Ned. You know what I mean? That part I thought was kind of a bitter ending there. Didn't like that.
Yeah, I mean, in introducing Matt Murdock to help Peter Parker, and now he's not, now he's not really helping him anymore because he doesn't know who Peter Parker is.
I know,
and then
yeah.
Strange, this whole multiverse. Now we have the next movie coming up, his movie into who knows what that movie's going to do, as far as, I wouldn't put it past Marvel for that movie to undo everything we just saw.
Right.
They want to mess with our minds.
Yep. Yeah, I know. It's I don't know what they're gonna do, man. But where do you think they'll go?
Well, I mean, honestly, the next Spider-Man really doesn't need any MCU Avengers or anyone in it anymore.
No.
Really, it doesn't really. If it is, it's some happy cameo or something. But you don't need to see them. I mean, granted.
No, I would like to see. I think. Sorry, go ahead.
And I was like, granted, what we're going to talk about next with Hawkeye, we see Kingpin, New York. This is all, are we going to now see some kind of crossover with Matt Murdock in the future with Spider-Man? Will he cameo? Vice versa? It's just a lot of, we don't need to see him with the Hulk. I mean, it'd be cool to have a really cool fight with, like in the comics with the Hulk and Spider-Man.
Right.
But we don't need to see it. We don't need to see basically Hawkeye crossover with Spider-Man. We don't need to see anyone. It'd be cool if we saw somebody, yes, of course. But with this, I guess that's what they wanted with the soft reboot too.
That's what they do.
Not heavily rely on.
Well, they're giving us, like I said, they're giving us the Peter Parker that we know. You know what I mean? Without coming in there and having the AI in his suit and all of that. You know what I mean? So this is going to be him just. And you're right. I don't need to have. I mean, put him in other team up movies, the Avengers movies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Do that.
A future appearance with a future Fantastic Four, because he was part of the Four for a while,
Right. Exactly.
But, yeah.
With the newer, do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, with the newer properties, that would be really nice and really not good to see. But yeah, I don't think.
But give us a Spider-Man that's dealing with one, on his own, some enemies on a smaller scale. I don't know what enemy they'll go with, but just we don't need to have him, have Tony Stark or somebody come into his aid or be in his thing. Now, did you like Doctor Strange though in this movie with him? Did you like that?
There was something wrong, something off about him, and what kind of led me to agree what I was sensing was right was the final scene or the end of the credit teaser when we see where the direction of the multiverse is going. are we seeing something already, Strange already not turning bad so much, but having different thoughts? I mean, because he was just so nonchalant about, oh, I can help you with this, but then he was blaming Peter for messing up his spell. I mean, if you're that strong a sorcerer supreme, even though he wasn't because of the blip, if you're that strong a
Right.
sorcerer, him interrupting you every 5 minutes, every 5 seconds for a spell, I think something was off with him. And I just now, I got even more questions now leading into, Multiverse of Madness, which is what, May? That one's out coming? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
it was supposed to be. It was March, and they got pushed back a few months. So
Yeah.
it was like really soon afterwards, and then it was now 6 months later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was an integral part of the beginning of the storylines, and I'm glad they cut him out until the end, because I mean, it's not his story technically, but there was something off. I don't know if he was just, I don't know. Hey, we have to wait till the next movie to see. Maybe it'll explain why he was what he was thinking. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah. Well, we never got his his perception of things, or from his point of view. You know what I mean? So yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
right, because when we did find out he's not the Sorcerer Supreme, because even he was questioned about it, and it became Wong was the Sorcerer Supreme for those 5 years of the blip. That was just
Yep.
pretty cool because everyone loves
Yeah.
Wong.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, he's making quite a few appearances here throughout the MCU now.
Oh yeah.
Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, Yeah, no, it's all good stuff. I don't know. His movie looks wild. His movie looks really wild. Strange. Going back to Strange.
Yeah.
Um,
And what's cool is what was teased is a
Dark
what
Strange.
if, yeah,
Yeah,
from What If,
exactly.
they
Yeah,
they're sharing that universe with the cartoon. That's awesome.
yeah, yeah. No, it shows that the cartoon was even, had stuff. It's not just one off. Those things matter in this,
Right.
in the wider extent of things. Uh, what they're doing is just really fantastic. But no, I mean, everything about Spider-Man is great. It has some fantastic action scenes. It was never boring, I didn't think at all.
No, it was
And
not.
it was long, but it didn't seem long to me.
Yeah, it was 2.5 hours, right? I believe.
Yeah, yeah. So and like I said, in Spider-Man 4, we're definitely going to get that. There's going to be, who knows what direction. I think it'll be a little smaller scale, but at least we're getting the Tom Holland, who's been reset and is more the Spider-Man that we know and love. But then like I said, Sony's done a great job of planting other seeds to where they can go with Maguire, and I think they could actually get up. I think they could mount. He might be a little too old or whatever now. I think, but maybe it'd be great to put a mid-40s Spider-Man out there to see what he's dealing with.
Kind of like
Um,
the Into the Spider-Verse when he
yeah,
he was
exactly. That
older,
guy.
fatter Spider-Man, dad
Yep.
bod Spider-Man.
Yep. They could lead a movie with him. They could take off with Andrew Maguire. I mean, Andrew Maguire, gosh, Andrew Garfield. I know, just cross them over in the old that's their own little multiverse. They could do, they could do Andrew Garfield and run off with him. Now we could do Spider-Man 4, Spider-Man 3, all possibilities, man. And
Yeah.
a Spider-Man 4 in the MCU, all different possibilities now. Although I would say that we're more likely to see Andrew Garfield.
Oh yeah, yeah. Rather than Tobey Maguire, agreed.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think he stole the show. I really think he stole the show there with his Peter Parker. I
Yeah, I
really
mean,
do, man.
plus, again, we wanted to see some kind of closure. Everyone's got their own kind of trilogy.
Yeah.
His Spider-Man did not. So if they did a third one just for the fans, I bet you that would just be, it'd be
Exactly.
it hit it out of the park, because a lot of people, like you mentioned, really like Andrew Garfield.
Yep, for sure. Well, dang, man, I think we have said it all. Did we miss anything?
No, man. I mean, I really want to go see it again. I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
dude, be like me. I've seen it twice. I can't wait to see it a third time. I'm looking forward to where it comes out on. Well, I was about to say I'm looking forward to coming out on Disney Plus, but I've actually it won't be.
No,
Forgot.
no.
Oh
It's
yeah, no, it won't
it
be.
it might not, but not anytime soon. It's just gonna
Yeah,
run the theater until they milk everyone dry of their money.
indeed,
Which
indeed.
is fine with me because I'll go drop some more money to go watch it again.
Well, man, I know we wanted to talk about Hawkeye, but I think we've run out of time. I know why don't we tune into next episode and we'll
Yeah,
really
we
dive
can
into
talk
that
about
because I think that
Hawkeye.
was an exciting episode as well.
That last
And that really
episode,
wrapped up.
yeah,
Yeah,
was an exciting episode. So yeah, we should save some time and really so we can really delve into that because there was a lot of not
a
cameos,
lot
but
of
a lot of exciting, more introduction to more characters that are going to play an important part in more MCU shows, hopefully. So
exactly. You want to just dive into it now?
I got time.
All right, dude. All right. I thought it was all because I was wrapping up and then I was like, you know what? It was so good. Let's just talk about it now. It's awesome.
Sure.
Um, I thought it was great. We have Kingpin now. I mean, we obviously did that with the picture, and then of course we just talked about Daredevil popping up with Spider-Man. Now we've got Daredevil or Kingpin showing up and actually just being a huge part of the
Full
Hawkeye
blown
finale.
Kingpin. Yeah.
Yeah. That was great. You said you watched Daredevil, right?
Yes.
Was there anything that you noticed right off the bat? I mean, we didn't get to spend a lot of time with him, but do you think he was portraying him the same way? Was there any subtle things that you saw differently?
He was
Uh,
still like, I am the king. This is my city. This and that. I mean, we did see him actually a lot more in action. We did see him fight Daredevil in the last, season, last episode. But in this one, he was, taking explosive. He was getting beat.
yeah, he's much stronger.
He's a much
Yeah, I mean,
stronger, and
in
an
this
arrow to the chest, and
iteration,
he just flex it off. And what?
he tore a damn car door off
I
a hinge,
know.
dude. Yeah,
I mean,
and he was able to take a full blown hit by a car,
yeah, yeah.
knock
He
through a
in the
building, and
comics,
got up.
he's all muscle. He's that formidable a force, which
Yeah,
we didn't see in so much in Daredevil. But yeah, I'm really glad we're getting a villain of that type now.
yeah,
Uh, but no,
yeah.
I love. I mean, we see Kingpin right off the bat in that classic white suit with the purple, whatever ascot or whatever, and that
Yeah.
diamond cane or the big old diamond cane,
Yep.
right out of the comics.
Yeah, dude. It was fantastic. I love that we've got all these people and all these characters to even though we've lost major ones here with Captain America and Iron Man, we're
Right.
getting access to all these other cool ones that are coming in to be able to play in this universe. Um, but I think I loved Hawkeye and the amount of trick arrows. I know it was
Oh,
a subtle thing, but all the crazy, awesome trick arrows that we got to see. You watched Arrow? I did. I watched Arrow for what 8 years,
right.
and that was one thing that I thought that they never really incorporated into that show was the use of trick arrows. You know what I mean? He maybe showed one or two times that I can remember
Right.
that
I
he
mean,
had some type
even
of arrow that did something.
right, right.
And these though, like just is so cool. They had
Yeah,
everything that
and
you've
then we
probably
had
ever seen,
Kate
in the
Bishop marking
comics.
him
Yeah,
down with the little freeze arrow, bomb
yeah,
arrow.
yes, it was awesome. I loved that. And it was what I liked about Hawkeye too is that most Marvel shows or just superhero shows in general, there's always some guffin or whatever. It's just like you gotta stop this thing before the end of the world happens. And what I liked about Hawkeye is this was all done on a small scale. You
Right.
know what
Yeah.
I mean? It
There
was
was
just these two
nothing.
people trying to get out of it. It wasn't this world-ending thing or anything like that. It was just, and I think as the season progressed too, it started off as him not taking everything so seriously, but then it got more dangerous and more serious and more dangerous. You know what I mean? As the season went on,
Yeah,
and
because
it was just so
yeah,
good. Yeah,
he had in the back of his mind, unbeknownst to us, that it was Kingpin the whole time.
yeah,
He
yep,
knew what it was, and he would always call him by the big guy, and this and then dropping little hints that the big guy.
yeah.
but yeah, again, like you said, it wasn't one of those world ending, we need to save the world now. We're like, no, we just need to save ourselves right now.
Yes.
And
Ex-
I love how he finally just, admitted and mentioned Kate as his partner. He finally just said, this kid really, you know, knows what she's doing, and that's, the whole involving her in making the trick arrows,
Yep.
and to the even to the end when he he revealed his homemade, or his outfit, she was all excited
Yeah.
because he used the outfit the larpers had made.
Yep.
So but no, other than that, I thought, he we saw him turn from, not really wanting, he just wanted to solve it quick, to him wanting to solve this like permanently, especially when he told Echo to leave, this is the last chance. And then, you know, finally accepting Kate as his partner. We saw him really evolve as a character, as far as,
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
Yep. It was, we definitely did it. And we also saw him evolve when we got to see him put some ghosts to bed. The Elena thing. I
Oh
thought
yeah, that
that
was
was,
tough.
again, I've said it, I cannot sing enough of her praises. I think she just crackles every time she's on the screen, man. She just brings something. She does, she is. She's great. I think she's awesome. She just brings a lot of personality to otherwise dour Black Widow that was always
Right,
around.
right.
She had her smart comments, but this Elena's just incredible.
Yeah,
I can't wait to
especially,
see her more into
yeah,
that in the MCU.
yeah, her and the rapport she had with Kate,
Yes,
they
it's
were like
incredible.
they were like, best friends, kind of besties, just, especially that little fight there in the, not fight, but in the elevator. And
Yep, that was all good stuff. And again, they've developed. They're gonna, just like Hawkeye, the original Hawkeye, Clint, and Black Widow were tight. They basically, that's the
yeah,
beginning of this. Natasha and Clint were tight. This is Yelena and the new Hawkeye. So the new Black Widow and the new Hawkeye becoming tight, which they
right.
are. They're going to have a great relationship, great working relationship, of course. But
Now, will she still keep on calling her Kate Bishop?
I don't know. I don't know. We will
Full name.
see. Yeah, I know, right? But no, I thought it was really good. Now we also basically, which I think is awesome. I love how they did this too, is basically identifying Clint's wife as being Mockingbird.
Mockingbird with the big
He
old
was an agent of Shield. That's exactly
Agent
who
of
she
Shield.
was.
The 19, was it engraved on the back?
Yep, yep, yep.
Agent 19.
So yep, Agent 19. So that was basically saying that's who she is.
Yeah,
And as we all know, they long storied relationship history of being together in the comics, married.
and
And
it's still
Hawkeye's
yet to
solo
be
issues, he
revealed.
was leading West Coast Avengers.
Yeah, it's still yet to be revealed if she's really the Bobby Morse from the MCU, and that her Laura cover is her cover name. We don't know. It'd be cool if,
Right.
or is it just, this is the MCU's Mockingbird?
I don't know. Yeah, that part is true. Now, and that also in its own way is, we've gotten confirmation that Daredevil and stuff. Again, we don't know if Daredevil and all that stuff is stories that happened, or what happened in the MC universe, Marvel universe. But what we did, by if they are bringing Mockingbird in, and let's say her name was Bobby, what they are is discounting Agents of Shield completely, because we did have Bobby Morse in Agents of Shield
Yeah,
also.
well, as much as I enjoy Agency, although I didn't see the last maybe 2 seasons,
Uh,
they tied in Avengers, or the Avengers, pretty much for the first couple of seasons, or the MCU, but then after that, it really wasn't.
yeah, they went away after that.
Yeah, it wasn't MCU anymore. And then, I don't know if this is counting as a different multiverse or what, but I mean, in fact, also to the point where we never saw Agent Coulson again mentioned in any MCU form, other than
Captain Marvel.
it's a Captain Marvel, and well, that was, yeah, as a prequel type
Yeah,
thing, but afterwards, so I don't know.
that's true.
I'd be fine with having the new Mockingbird come out like her as her.
Right. Yeah, that would be
And
cool.
it'd be cool to actually see her
In action.
in action. Yeah, yeah, with Clint somehow.
Yeah. That would
But
be. That would be. Now, do you think we're going to see Clint continue on? That was their cool little way. As she was going through her name. Maybe I'll be Lady Hawk. Maybe
Lady
I'll be
Hawk,
whatever. And he was like, "Oh, I got a good one," and then it flashes to Hawkeye.
Hawkeye
So, from what I understand, Kate Bishop was known as Hawkeye also in the comics,
in the
right?
comics, yes.
So, do you think she's ultimately? Yeah, I think she's taking the mantle of Hawkeye. That's what she'll do. You think this is it? We'll see of Clint, or do you think we'll see him still poking around out there?
If we do, I believe we might see him in some kind of mentor fashion, but I don't think they're not bringing back the Avengers of as we know it. They're not coming back together. So I would see him only coming out as some kind of mentor,
Right.
like or leader of the West Coast
Right.
Avengers, but I would like to see him again. I do like Clint Barton because especially how Kate Bishop was telling him and explaining to him how she saw him, how he was her inspiration. He saw a
Yep.
human just jumping off a building, knowing very well that he can't fly, he has no superpowers, and that, but yet
Right.
he kept on because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway, that's why
Yeah.
I like Clint as the character because he's human, and
Right.
that's I guess that's why I kind of like Natasha a little bit more again because she was only human. But if I had to choose characters, they would be Hawkeye because
Right.
only because I like I like Green Arrow
Era.
in the
Exactly.
DC.
And that's his counterpart. True. I'm with you. Well, no, I think we agree it was awesome. I don't think I think the next one is Ms. Marvel, right? Or Moon Knight. I can't remember which one it is, but it's one of the two.
I don't know. I think it might be Moonlight.
Maybe
Moon
Moon
Knight.
Knight.
So
So all
and
good. Because they didn't give us any clear indication. They just gave us Rogers the musical at the
the
end of
Rod,
this
yeah,
one.
the whole musical.
Yeah.
There was no.
Yeah.
That was the secret ending or the secret the
Yeah. That's
scene.
classic. Crazy.
But I mean, I want to say it is Moonlight, and I've heard already that it is going to be a darker, more
Oh, it is.
serious series than what we've seen, especially on Disney. So, which is welcome, and that's just going to open up another. How are they going to tie that into the MCU? It's
I
just
don't know. It's going to open up the whole new horror stuff, the horror genre aspect of it, which is Blade and all of that, man. Werewolf by Night, all that stuff that they've announced, the little Halloween special they're going to do with him, and so all good stuff, man. But yeah, I think we agree that Marvel's outdone themselves this week with obviously Spider-Man, which is we're given four
back to
stars, and then
back.
Hawkeye with 4 stars, and with the ending as well. Very
And
good. We loved it.
I loved how
And
it
Echo,
was.
they positioned Echo
Yeah.
to go into her new show too because they left it hanging with Kingpin.
Yeah. Yeah, which Kingpin is not dead. There's no way. We didn't. That shot was off screen. For all we know, she shot in the air. Whatever. There's Yep. But then again, we saw him get hit by a car, and he just shrugged it off. So.
Yes, sir. Well, my friend, I think we've said it all, man. I think we loved it, guys. If you have not checked it out, please run out and check out Spider-Man, and of course, follow it up. Get your double dose of Hawkeye finale. Again, we loved them all. It was great. I can't wait to see where Spider-Man goes from here. All three of them. They've got the potential for all three of them to go somewhere. So it'll be interesting to see, dude.
They've opened so many doors.
They did. They definitely did. Well, cool, man. Well, that's it, guys. Listen, if we don't talk to you again, we're just a couple days before Christmas. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope everyone has a fantastic holiday with their families and loved ones. And that's it. LT, Merry Christmas to you, my friend.
You too, brother. I hope you were good this year. Let Santa bring you everything you wanted.
I'll do my best, my friend. I hope. Same to you, buddy. All right, guys. Listen, hit the subscribe button. Let us know what you think about the show. Of course, we love you guys. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you want to see. We'll talk to you soon.
LT? All right, bro. We appreciate you all. Thank you.